the picture itself looks kind of grainy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were enough complaints though that clearly it is not up to the standard.
So
though
I have a little bit of experience with 3D printing, not a lot, but I bought a MakerBot 2 like 6 or 7 years ago. Whenever they came out, it was this really weird niche. Like I drove to Manhattan, they had one store. The store only sold one product, and it was this stupid MakerBot. It was like $2,000 or $2,500, and it was supposed to be like the first like actually affordable consumer grade 3D printer where you could, like, if you were really poor, you could just print a kitchen set, just print yourself some cups, print yourself a plate. Why not?
You bought one?
Huh?
You bought one of these?
I bought one. Now, the reason I bought one, not because I was like, wow, it's really cool, I'm going to make some plates, was because this was my first investment as an entrepreneur, okay? Now, this guy approached me. It was a Canadian fella that lived in Ontario. His name was Jesse Neon. Fuck this guy, by the way, right? So he has this idea for this card game called Realm Clash, all right? And he said, how about a card game with the complexity of Magic, but the simplicity of chess? And I was just like, I mean, all right, I guess that sounds kind of cool.
Wow, that sounds buzzy.
And yeah, exactly. He's like, how about a game that's really easy to learn, but impossible to master? I'm like, well, isn't that the dream with like any kind of game design? I mean, sure. It's like asking me if I want to be rich. I mean, sure, dude, but what's the catch? What's the actual mechanic of the game? So it was a card game, but it was like Magic where you open packs, but packs would come with like a figurine kind of Warhammer style. So it was a mixture of like you have pieces that you move. It was just trying to like combine the best aspects of all the most popular games that are tabletops. And of course, it fucking sucked ass, right? So he said he needed this printer so that he could print the pieces so he could prototype it and then get some like real user feedback and this kind of stuff. And then the plan was to launch a Kickstarter.
Investors and okay, all right.
That was the big plan. So he was like, dude, and we need this.
Oh, this is great, dude.
To make the Kickstarter look really legit, because a Kickstarter of like, hey, I'm going to buy the printer and I'm going to print. Nobody's going to fund that. But if we've already started printing pieces, like I could ship a game to one of these early Kickstarter people, that would be awesome. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I forget what the percentage was. He gave me like 25% of the project or something for $2,500. We go through the thing. I ship it to him. We're getting all these pictures and stuff. He's spending all this money on artwork. He's telling me like, dude, we took out a mortgage on the house. Like I'm working on this full time. My wife just got a second job so we can put extra money into this project because we both believe in it so much. I've got prototypes in 2 local game stores. People are loving it. And I'm like, I mean, all right, dude, I don't know if this is true or not, but sounds all right. Launches the Kickstarter. Wants to raise 10 grand. Dude, I think it raised $500 total. Like it was bad. Total Kickstarter flop. I remember he sent me the video and I was just kind of like, dog, you're going to want to remake this. I don't know if this is really going to resonate with anyone at all. It's just like him working in his basement that looked kind of like a dungeon, like him filming B-roll of himself where it's like he set up the camera and then tried to look like really casual like he's working. I'm like, dude, this is the most cheese dick thing I've ever seen. Remember the Dota Radio promo video where it's like me doing an infomercial and it's like a little bit hammed up, so you think to yourself, I can't tell if this is a joke or not, but I see like kind of the point of it. This was like, this is definitely not a joke. This guy's serious, and I'm laughing at him, not with him. So I told him that. He made a couple tweaks, still launched the video as was, and then that was kind of the end of it. I asked if he would send me the printer back, and he said yes, and then never did. And then like a few years later, he told me he'd send it and that it broke, and then I looked it up, and apparently the company went out of business because the MakerBots were all shit, and after like 2 years or something, all of them broke. And they got RMA'd and all this stuff, and the company folded, and it's a real pain in the ass to even get it fixed. So the whole thing was a disaster across the board. It was one of the worst investments I've ever made. Return was 0, and if you factor in the time I spent thinking about it, negative return by far. So that's that was a nice little story there. That was Zyori's first investment.
That's pretty funny. How old were you?
I was college age.
All right.
I was like
I mean, that's not
sophomore in college, something like that.
Hey man, what if it worked out though? What if you had created War Magic Gathering Hammer? I mean, you could be rich.
But what's crazy about it, right? Remember that guy that was on the podcast like 10 or 15 episodes ago, QXC, that ex-StarCraft pro? That guy was like, he's maybe a year or two older than us. He made that game only a few years after I got involved with that Jesse Neon guy. So you know, I had the wrong person, but you never know. Yeah, it could have been a thing. That guy's Kickstarter raised like 400,000. That could have been me.
Dude, I think TNC are actually going to win.
Oh, really? It's going to game 3?
It's now 63 minutes, and they're